In 2018, President Donald Trump shocked the world by imposing tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. These tariffs, primarily targeting Canada, Mexico, and the European Union, marked the beginning of a tumultuous period of trade disputes. Trump justified these measures on the grounds of national security, claiming that reliance on foreign metals posed a threat to American interests. He argued that a strong domestic steel and aluminum industry was vital for national defense. The decision to levy tariffs on close allies like Canada, a country with a long history of peaceful trade with the United States, was met with widespread condemnation. Critics argued that the national security justification was baseless, as Canada posed no military threat to the U.S. Instead, they saw the tariffs as a protectionist measure aimed at shielding American industries from competition, even at the expense of close economic partners. The imposition of these tariffs marked the beginning of what would become known as Trump's trade war. This aggressive approach to trade policy sent shockwaves through the global economy, as countries around the world braced for the inevitable retaliation and economic fallout. The tariffs immediately strained relations between the U.S. and its allies, creating uncertainty and instability in the global trading system. Canada, the United States' largest trading partner, found itself unexpectedly caught in the crossfire of Trump's trade war. The two countries share a deeply integrated economy, with billions of dollars in goods and services flowing across the border every day. The sudden imposition of tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum sent shockwaves through the Canadian economy, disrupting long-standing supply chains and threatening thousands of jobs. The tariffs had a particularly harsh impact on Canadian manufacturing and agriculture. Steel and aluminum are essential inputs for a wide range of manufactured goods, from cars to appliances. The increased costs of these raw materials due to the tariffs made Canadian goods less competitive, both domestically and internationally. The agricultural sector, a major exporter to the United States, also suffered as retaliatory tariffs from the U.S. targeted Canadian agricultural products. The tariffs also led to higher prices for consumers on both sides of the border. Canadian businesses that relied on American inputs faced higher costs, which they were often forced to pass on to consumers in the form of higher prices. Similarly, American consumers felt the pinch as tariffs on Canadian goods made everything from lumber to cars more expensive. The trade war, therefore, not only hurt businesses, but also placed a financial burden on ordinary citizens. The imposition of tariffs on Canada and other U.S. allies was met with swift and decisive retaliation. Canada responded by imposing its own tariffs on a range of American goods, carefully chosen to exert maximum economic and political pressure. The European Union, Mexico, and China followed suit, targeting iconic American products like bourbon, Harley-Davidson motorcycles, and agricultural products. This tit-for-tat exchange of tariffs escalated tensions between the U.S. and its trading partners, poisoning diplomatic relations and creating a climate of uncertainty in the global economy. The trade war disrupted global supply chains, as businesses struggled to adjust to the new tariffs and the threat of further escalation. The tariffs also had a chilling effect on global trade. Businesses, facing uncertainty about future tariffs and trade relations, became more risk-averse and less likely to invest in new projects or expand their operations. This slowdown in global trade further exacerbated the economic fallout from the trade war, contributing to job losses and slower economic growth. The economic fallout from Trump's trade war was significant and far-reaching. In the United States, studies suggest that the tariffs resulted in the loss of hundreds of thousands of jobs, particularly in manufacturing and agriculture. The tariffs also led to higher prices for consumers, as businesses passed on the increased costs of imported goods. The tariffs disrupted supply chains, forcing businesses to scramble for alternative suppliers and often pay a premium for raw materials and components. This disruption contributed to higher costs and delays for businesses, further hampering economic growth. While the Trump administration eventually removed some tariffs, particularly those on Canadian and Mexican steel and aluminum, the damage to trade relations and the global economy was already done. The Biden administration has sought to repair relationships with allies and restore normalcy to trade relations. However, the legacy of Trump's trade war, characterized by mistrust and uncertainty, continues to linger, serving as a cautionary tale about the perils of protectionism and the importance of international cooperation in the globalized economy.